working the graveyard shift, and I don't think I'll be eating canned food anymore. Well, it's my first time doing this, so I think an introduction is in order. My name is Jake, I'm a young American, and less than a month ago, I started working the night shift at a convenience store in Denton, Texas. The job is to save money for college since I wasn't fortunate enough to come from a wealthy family or succeed in school, either in sports or academics. The routine, though monotonous, has its calm and tranquility. I organize shelves, attend to sporadic customers, and, of course, take the opportunity to study between customers. The first point is that, yes, it messes with your biological clock. I'm only just starting to get used to it in these last few days. My shift is from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. But, on the other hand, the sleeping city creates a unique atmosphere during the wee hours. The yellow lights of the gas station cast soft shadows on the asphalt, and the constant hum of the refrigerator is my soundtrack. As mundane as it may be at times, the comforting solitude of this hour is something I appreciate. While the world sleeps, I'm here, earning a few bucks to build my future. If that were the only thing, I wouldn't be writing here, but I need to report to someone who understands the events of last night. As always, I arrived for another night shift and was greeted by Ryan, my coworker, a nice guy but always seemed a bit tense. They say he got involved with drugs in high school and owed some people money. His shift ends before mine, so sometimes our schedules overlap when he does overtime. During one of the breaks, Ryan told me about a strange guy he had seen lurking around earlier. He said the guy seemed out of place, watching everything with a disturbing look, wearing sunglasses and a cap, like a movie disguise. He said the guy seemed to be keeping an eye on the gas station's activity. I thought it might be someone after Ryan, given his history, or in the worst case, I should be alert for a possible robbery. Just to be safe, we decided to inform Mr. Gonzalez, our boss. He's an elderly Mexican man who is well respected in the town, said to be one of the oldest residents. He usually keeps a gun under the counter, in addition to the one he carries with him. The sheriff, apparently a close friend of Mr. Gonzalez, even came here with him to warn us that if necessary, we could use that gun for safety, along with a hidden button that sends an alert to the boss's phone. After reporting the situation, he simply shrugged and said there was nothing to worry about. Everyone knew who he was in the area, and if things got tough, just press the button and he would come, even swore to be on standby during that night. Hours later, Ryan left for home, leaving me alone and wishing me good luck. The store fell silent, only the distant sounds of the city echoing. Slowly, the fear left my body. I grabbed an energy drink and started reading a book. About an hour passed, around midnight, when I noticed a suspicious customer entering a black van. He refueled quickly while staring into the store, then decided to come in. He wore a cap that covered half of his face, and his eyes seemed to examine every corner of the store. He looked like the guy Ryan described, so my tension increased. I kept my finger on the button under the table. The suspicious customer just wandered through the aisles, examining the products, nothing abnormal. Then he picked up a pack of cigarettes, condoms, and left. I chuckled internally, understanding what had happened and how I had worried for nothing. It was just a country guy afraid of Puritan neighbors and becoming local gossip. That relieved my tension, but only for a moment. As he left, a strange feeling enveloped me, as if the air were electrically charged. For a brief moment, the light flickered, coming back quickly but not completely. I became tense when I saw that a specific corner of the store was dark, almost impossible to distinguish with the naked eye. That caught my attention, and every few seconds, my vision was drawn and coerced to look there. With each glance, the hairs on my neck raised more. It was as if there was something there, as if my subconscious knew. Suddenly, a sound of something metallic falling echoed through the dark aisle. I jumped back, freezing in place. "Ah, you're a clown," I thought. "It's just a poorly placed can on the shelf. Don't let Ryan's paranoia get to you too." I took the first step to move to the aisle when suddenly, another noise began, this time more constant. It was the can that had fallen, but this time it rolled toward me, hitting my foot. I looked at it as it stopped, and it was open. There was someone in the damn store. I looked into the darkness and could swear I saw something taking shape, a slender, feminine figure walking toward me. Was I crazy? I hoped so. But that thing started to approach, methodically and rhythmically. I didn't want to reach for the gun. I knew there was a chance I was in danger, so what I did was discreetly press the button under the table and run to the warehouse at the back of the store. As I started running, I could hear her footsteps behind me, running too, very fast. She seemed to almost not touch the ground and still got so close. I reached the door and slammed it behind me, milliseconds before feeling the impact of her weight being thrown against the metal structure. I turned the lock. This door was extremely heavy and resistant. I was sure I could spend the rest of the night peacefully inside, until I saw her blows making the door shake. I calmed down as the power of the attacks gradually subsided. A good amount of time had passed. How much? I don't know. I made the mistake of leaving my phone on the counter when I ran. I didn't want to risk going out before making sure it was safe, and the lack of windows in the warehouse left me unsure if it was already dawn. As I calmed down and the adrenaline dissolved in my blood, I began to think more rationally. What if that woman was just a homeless person, mentally unstable, and became reactive to my unexpected action? Besides, what could an old lady do against me? I felt like an idiot, decided, with great caution, to open the door and try to talk or at least approach in a more peaceful way and understand the situation of that person. When I unlocked and peeked my eye out, I saw Mr. Gonzalez speaking like the sheriff, scribbling on a notepad while the old man spoke. I approached him, and then both seemed confused. "Jake, how did you get into the warehouse?" he asked. "Well, I had some problems last night and had to hide there." "Did you just arrive now?" "Jake." "Well, never mind. I'm glad you brought the sheriff because I think there's a woman." He raised his voice. "You've been missing for 3 days." "No, what? Did I really spend all that time in there?" "But I didn't feel anything, thirst, sleep, what's going on here?" "Jake, you didn't spend the whole time in there, because the warehouse was the first place we checked when we arrived." I was stunned and disoriented. After a glass of water and sitting for a while, I finished telling them what had happened. "Look, young man, I heard the alarm when you pressed it, and I ran here, maybe 15 minutes at most. The store was deserted. I searched the warehouse, the bathrooms, everywhere, and nothing. Neither you nor Ryan, actually. Do you have any information about him?" "No, he left before all this happened, long before. He was all paranoid, you know how he is." "Usually the season is not that time of year," the sheriff murmured. "What?" I asked. "I think we need to talk," Mr. Gonzalez said. "I have a proposal to make, and you must decide what you want for yourself, right? If you want, I can fire you now and pay your rights and a hefty compensation. Or, if you prefer to continue working here, you need to be aware of the risks you are taking, not just the obvious ones like criminals or raccoons in the trash. Now go home, take the day off for yourself and think about it. If you want to leave and put this behind you, which I completely understand, just send me a message and the money will soon be in your account. If you prefer the second option, meet me at the cafe today at 8 p.m. as I'll need to give you some information." He patted my shoulder, and I said goodbye. I ended up spending a good time responding to friends and family, modifying the story a bit, talking about a nighttime intruder, a physical confrontation, and how I ended up disoriented in the middle of the fight. Most didn't ask more questions and wished me well. Now, what occupies my mind most of the time is the proposal I received. I really don't know if by continuing to work there, I'll be sinking deeper into this quagmire or saving myself. Saving myself from what, you might be wondering? Well, after a restless sleep on the couch, I woke up to a single knock on the door. I peeked through the peephole without seeing any trace of anyone, but when I opened the door and saw what was there, my stomach churned, akin like the one from last night, open and almost empty, with some sticky remnants at the bottom. The disturbing part, however, was the strange label from a brand I've never heard of. On a vibrant yellow background, red letters announced Canned Ryan. I felt nauseous instantly, locked myself in the house, and refused to even look out the window. I've been in front of the computer since then, writing this.